If I were to start something now, I would either start just a consumer product company. The service-based businesses that we're in, I think AI will disrupt those far more. AI can't replace that. Those are real relationships. What if we could do 10 times the outreach for each of our clients each month with the same amount of hours? You have to understand how to build these tools to really get the best out of it. If you can improve your conversion rate, you improve every single marketing KPI. There's about to be a lot of transactions taking place in there, and you're going to get left in the dust.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Logbook podcast. I'm your host, Zach Bernard. You can find me on social at It's Zach B. In each episode, I bring on experts from various industries for you to learn about their strategies and insights driving extreme business growth. The Entrepreneur's Logbook podcast is sponsored by Weekly GPR, where we're dedicated to helping entrepreneurs build their thought leadership in business by getting them on podcasts and launching their own podcasts. Today, we're joined by Philip Hill, founder and CEO of Purebred Marketing, a top DTC agency focused on igniting growth for brands with affiliate programs and high-performing website fueled by SEO and CRO. He's been a serial entrepreneur in the e-com space for 15 years, worked with over 100 brands like Solo Stove, Pet Supermarket, and Snap Supplement, driving over $200 million in client revenue. And funnily enough, he dropped out of college just 18 hours short of graduation to launch his first business. Philip, it's great to have you on the show. Welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
I love it. One of the things that I always like to start the podcast with is, because obviously you've been in the space for a while, you've had like multiple companies from what I could tell, doing a bit of my due diligence here. And one of the things I'm always curious to hear is, if you had to rebuild your company from scratch, knowing that everything that you know, like today, what would you do differently that you feel perhaps other entrepreneurs get like totally wrong?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think if I started today, it'd be way different than when I started. I think I would have a completely different approach than when I started for a couple of reasons. One, the world's just changed drastically. If I were to start something now and I didn't have the businesses that I currently have, I would either start just a consumer product company, because I don't think they're going anywhere, right? The way we market them is different than what it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and way different than what it'll be in 10 years. But the service-based businesses that we're in, I think AI will disrupt those far more. And going back to my core of consumer product e-commerce brands, which is the direction that we're going anyway. And the agency is really kind of like a growth machine. And we're just trying to build the best marketing team we can run our own brands through. If I were to start a service-based business now, it 100% would just be AI related, like integration for businesses and AI. Everybody knows they need it. There's a lot of tools out there that are good and getting better. And the opportunity is just so vast because most people don't understand that. So I think I have a call this afternoon with an AI engineer we've been talking to build tools and things like that for us. I would probably do something similar to what he's doing. So I think that a lot of people are scared of AI replacing everything, and that's just not the case. I think that if you stick with, everybody's going to still have products, right? You have to wear clothes, you have to wear shoes, you have to have, cooking utensils and food to eat and all that type of stuff. So I think the brands are going to be safe. It's just figuring out how to adapt. And I think that we're ahead of the curve, like trying to pioneer in the AI search space and stay ahead of the curve there. We're evolving from SEO is the core of search right now. But what we're seeing is Google and the other search engines, there's not a significant reduction in searches there. It's more of an expansion. So not as nervous as I was a year or two ago about the landscape of search. I think if you just stick with your old school SEO approaches, I think you will probably be left in the dust at some point, not real soon, but in a number of years. But just seeing where the world has gone and how quickly it's evolved, I would definitely change my approach now versus what it was 8.5 years ago starting the agency. But hindsight's always 2020.
Yeah. AI is like a big one. Every single company is like utilizing in like some shape or form. And you mentioned like you're like working on like hiring an AI engineer to like within like your company in some way.
Yeah. So basically what we're looking at is like, it's not to replace people, right? It's how do we enhance the people that we have? What are the tasks that we can build agents and or workflows for that we already have, where we can make our team significantly more efficient and effective? So it's not trying to say, okay, we need less headcount, let's fire these people and replace them with tools. What realistically will end up happening is we will hire less people over time because we won't need as many of them. But if one Especially for the affiliate side of our business, if we can build agents and workflows that help streamline like research and list building and outreach and things like that. Part of what we do differently from our affiliate business than most agencies is like we build real relationships. So we have account managers at a lot of these big affiliate shops. We have relationships with journalists and with commerce editors and things like that. And you can't replace that. AI can't replace that. Those are real relationships. But they might replace when we have a new brand that comes in and we need to figure out who ranks on the first page of Google for all the listicles related to the brand's products or the brand in general. If it can go and flush out those search queries and pull who the affiliate sites are on the first page and build a list for us and start generating outreach based on prompts and pitches that we give, and then we can pick up where the relationship starts.
Amazing.
Okay, maybe we could have more accounts per head. We can also have way more success for our clients. What if we could do 10 times the outreach for each of our clients each month with the same amount of hours, the same amount of account managers? I think a lot of people, I think there's different views on how to use AI. So some of it is like, how do we replace all our people? And what we're seeing now is it doesn't really replace people, right? It might replace certain numbers of headcount, but you have to have people that understand how to build these tools, use these tools to really get the best out of it. So if I sit down with somebody who's never really used ChatGPT or Gemini or any of these LLMs for whatever it is, if I want to build a meal plan for the week or a grocery list or my workout or whatever I'm doing professionally at work, which is really what most of what I use it for, they're going to think that AI sucks because they're not going to get the same outputs that I get. So I think there will always be that human element of understanding how to get the most out of these tools as well.
Yeah, it's never going to leave. And like, I think we have a similar like philosophy where like AI is more like an amplifier to like anything that you do, as opposed to something not just going to take away, have people like fired to like their job. It's just going to make us more efficient as human workers. We're going to be able to increase capacity, deliver a better service. Yeah, like a research. It's a time consuming task, but you can automate a lot of it with AI nowadays and save so much time doing it. Yeah, it just increases your capacity for growth. You can deliver better service. So in the end, like I feel like there's opposing views. Some people are going to see it like, hey, AI is bad. And then there's other people that embrace it. And I feel I'm personally like part of that category. I'm assuming that you're part of that category too, where we're seeing it as a plus for us in a way.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said I don't think there are any downsides that can come as a result of AI, but there's nothing we're going to do to change it. So like,
there you go.
The government probably should regulate it, or there's some scary things that comes up. Sure, you get it in the wrong people's hands, but I think like 95% of the use cases are going to be really positive, but there are going to be a lot of jobs lost. There are also going to be a lot of jobs that we don't even know exist. They are literally are not jobs today that in 5 years, they're going to employ a lot of people there. Think about the internet, replace people. And you go, now there's just this giant industry of people that like myself that rely on the internet to do what we do. So I think there'll be positives there. I think like even outside of work, I think like the medical community for them, I think there are going to be so many advancements in medicine that it's just crazy. Like,
I have clients that are using AI for cancer research. Yeah, it's definitely crazy here.
Like all of these, there's so many different studies on the same topics, but to be able to try to analyze those and figure out the variables and controls, and I think it will be extremely helpful for human medicine. And then a lot of other, like anything science related. My brother works for a law firm now that I think that the legal field's going to be, it's going to be a different story where somebody can go read through all these hundreds or thousands of pages of case law and all this stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of really positive things, but I think with most things that are really generally positive, get them in the wrong people's hands, they can be dangerous. And I think we'll see some of that too.
Yeah. And I'd love to go back to the e-commerce side of things, because I know that's like your bread and butter here, but I always love to touch on to like AI because it's like a big thing here. But I'd be curious, like with like your approach, when you guys work with e-commerce, when a brand comes to you, they're struggling, perhaps they're declining customer acquisition costs, diminishing return on like any of like their marketing effort. How do you guys go about like someone diagnosing like what's going wrong and determining like which revenue channel that they should be putting like more emphasis on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's layers of that, right? So the first is just looking at each of the KPIs associated with each of your channels and seeing what's working well and what's not. But I think that's where most people end that diagnosis. And then they say, okay, this channel is not performing that well, we're going to cut it. And without understanding how all the channels play together. So like you have to understand your whole ecosystem to know if the initial diagnostics of looking at just KPIs and reporting for each channel makes sense. So for instance, like when
Mhm.
when Google Analytics switched from UA to GA4 a couple years ago, like SEO went from showing very well. There was a number of different attribution models on UA. Now there's only two on GA4 that basically favor the very end of your funnel and your buying cycle,
Mhm.
right? So for something like SEO, overnight from that switch from UA to GA4, you have all of the exact same metrics, but it immediately looks like you're making less revenue, right? So a lot of
Right.
clients could look at that and say, or a lot of brands look at that and say, okay, SEO is not profitable because I'm looking at my revenue and revenues drop significantly. But
Yeah.
Facebook ads have really picked up. Our Google remarketing's really picked up. All of these things that
Mhm.
are mid and lower funnel. And it's like, okay, how do you think you're getting those people in the funnel? Right. So if
Mhm.
people are searching the terms directly related to your brand and your products, do you not think
Yeah.
those are the right people to pick up in your remarketing, retargeting? So like your blended
Mm,
costs go down. So now you cut SEO, you kill that traffic, or even like Google search ads, you kill that really high
yeah.
intent traffic. And they're like, I can't figure out why my meta ads, my CPAs are going up, my customer acquisition costs going up, my
Yeah.
ROAS going down. You oftentimes it's easy to look at a higher level and get an understanding. There's some things that are clear cut, and that's like easy. Okay, this ROAS sucks. Like we need to
Mhm.
kill it or change something. But then diving in deeper to understand how do all these things work together and how do they feed each other, and making sure you have a cohesive ecosystem. Or
Mhm.
if you don't dive in at that deeper level, like you get yourself in a whole lot of trouble of just trying to take kind of high
Yeah.
level metrics and think that you get the whole picture.
Yeah. So it sounds like what you're saying, never look at the data on like face value. You need to dive a bit like deeper in depth to understand like what's
Yeah.
actually like happening. And that's
Yeah,
actually like funny
attribution's
because I
super muddy too. Like attribution's
yeah.
not straightforward at all. Like you get some. So
Oh
here's an
no.
example: you get somebody clicks on a Google search ad, and then they get retargeted by Facebook ads, Meta ads, and then
Mm,
they start checkout. They leave your site, and now Klaviyo, your email marketing, hits them with an abandoned cart email. All three of those platforms are now taking attribution, right? And you're like, how do I have
yeah.
triple the revenue that's shown in my Shopify site, in my Shopify analytics? And just,
Mm,
I know I didn't make that much money, but it doesn't mean they weren't all effective. You needed all those channels. But it's just
mhm.
what you're seeing from your KPIs within each dashboard, like it just doesn't add up to your overall metrics. So you just have to understand that like you want to have a cohesive marketing strategy that utilizes multiple channels, but then you have to take all of your reporting with a grain of salt,
Mhm.
because
So
that's
they're
just
basically
not how
working
things work.
like all in a cohesive like ecosystem where sure you can do like one channel, but having the SEO, the Facebook ads like all together is going to drive like better results in the end. And it sounds like you've had some clients that take some too quick assumptions. You're like, we've stopped SEO or Facebook ads are not working, everything's going down. When it's okay, maybe you should have just kept with the SEO going so the Facebook ads actually perform, and then you'll get a lower cost of acquisition.
Yeah, and everybody wants to look at, or not everybody, but a lot of people want to look at marketing channels in silos. And that's just not an effective approach. So it's, what you're doing on one channel contributes to another channel, and then they're like, yeah, then it's more expensive because now we have to pay for this. It's really not more expensive. It might be more expensive than what you think you'd be paying on that one channel, but if you look at your overall like marketing efficiency ratio, how much are we spending on marketing and what's our result? Like that's where you really get an understanding of, is this working? Now, yes, you still need to look at your individual platforms to make sure that they're performing well and to be able to optimize performance and that type of thing. But you have to look at a bigger picture. And some of it too is like people don't understand how things work together. So they have an Amazon store, then they run Facebook ads, and then they have TikTok shop. And it's like,
Mm.
are Amazon, TikTok shop, and a DTC website all good revenue drivers for businesses? Yeah, they can be depending on the business, but those three things don't feed each other, right? They are
Oh.
three completely separate ecosystems. So you're not better off spending, so you have smaller amounts of investment in each of those. I would rather go all in on one, really
Mm.
dominate that, and then move to the next. And so when people are thinking of that cohesiveness, a lot of it's like platform. There are a bunch of different marketplaces, a bunch of different places that you can sell things in different marketing channels that feed each other, that when you get fragmented, like you end up having a lot fall through the cracks.
Yeah. So from like a marketing standpoint, it's good to have like diversification, but for the actual like channel, whether it's TikTok shop, having like your own website, Shopify, etc., would you like recommend like most brands or companies to try to focus just on one and try to go like all in with that to just push more marketing towards like their funnels or?
For where a brand should start, it's really dependent on the brand, the product, their budget, all of that. It's a really good question, yes. There are certain brands that, like for TikTok Shop, there's certain brands that don't make any sense to be on TikTok Shop. Like what we see, and we have a couple clients that are the number one brands in their category on TikTok Shop. They do millions of dollars a month. But there are other brands that have like great products for virality on TikTok, but it still doesn't
Mm,
convert on TikTok Shop. They have a video go viral, they get 5 million views, 10 million views, and then their Amazon sales spike. And what
yeah,
I found on TikTok Shop is that it's impulse buys, right? So it's like,
yeah.
what can you show that's under $80? That, and I know there's some outliers, people that have higher priced products, or like some, I've seen some bigger brands that have higher priced products, but people know like they built their brand before TikTok Shop was even a thing, that are having some
Yeah.
success there. But for the most part, what can you seed a lot of product for? So higher priced products, you're not going to send a bunch of $1,000
Mm,
products to creators, right? What can you
yeah.
offer as steeper discount? So anything that the LTV is way higher than the AOV, where you can be aggressive with your discounts and your commissions, prices under $80 to $100. Those tend to work well on TikTok Shop. If you're outside of those, like I probably wouldn't even be on TikTok Shop, right?
Yeah.
Amazon, you can sell product without having a brand. That can be a lot easier. Amazon gets really crowded. You don't own that
Hmm.
customer data, so it's hard to remarket, hard to increase your LTV, but you don't have to really build a brand. You can just have products on there and build out your Amazon front. So I think
Yeah.
those are good for certain products. To get the most upside, like you want to build a D2C brand with a
Yeah.
website that you're driving traffic to from numerous channels. It's typically more
Mhm.
expensive because you really do need numerous channels to get it to
Yeah.
work, but there's so much
It
more
was
upside.
interesting though, because yeah, because it's interesting because I feel like there's pros and cons to it. Like I was speaking to like another like business owner and like he runs like an e-com brand. It's like a coffee brand or something like that. And they were in like a lot of like retail stores like Walmart, Target, and everything like that. And they were making the decision to stop working with the retailers to direct all the traffic solely to their website because they have a subscription model. But if they do it just with Walmart, etc., they don't have the subscription and apparently like Walmart and Target were like messing up sometimes the order, and then that
Oh, yeah.
affected like the brand perception, as opposed to just focusing strictly on okay, we had the brand e-commerce, let's drive all the traffic there, let's get those recurring subscription, higher LTV per customer, and I think yeah, going back to your point, it depends like what you're selling and like the brand itself, like.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what works for you. And you
Yeah.
were talking
That's
about
right.
TikTok Shop. I swear I've seen people sell like saunas on there, which like that's crazy. Like five
Yeah.
grand a pop or something like that.
But it's like, how do you seed that many saunas to really get like you need a
Yeah.
lot of creators to make it work and stuff. So can it work? Like probably it's gonna be much fewer and far between than what on those lower price products.
Yeah, no, I agree. And one of the things that I really would want to touch on, because you somewhat touched onto this earlier a little bit, which is like your commission only like DTC like Salesforce model. I think I was like reading on, which seems to be like a big part of what you guys are doing. Which there's like, so many agencies they focus strictly on paid ads or traditional marketing channels, but you guys are essentially building like an entire sales team for brands. Like I'd be interested to learn like how that works. How do you guys recruit these affiliates? Ensure like quality control, like how does that work? Because it's the first time I've heard of something like so efficient like that.
Yeah. So, a lot of people know what affiliate marketing is, but they think of it in kind of one vein. So there are PR
Mhm.
agencies that say they do affiliate marketing, but all they're really doing is like supplying links to content publishers. They're old school affiliate agencies that basically sign you up for coupon sites. And a lot of times you're paying for sales you would have gotten anyway. There are
Yeah.
people that just are influencer marketing agencies, but they use an affiliate platform to track influencer revenue. And that technically is affiliate marketing too. But we try to
Mhm.
build full funnel affiliate programs with a diverse mix of affiliates. But that diverse mix can look very different depending on the brand. So it's like similar to TikTok Shop. There are certain products that make sense for certain partners, right? So,
Mhm.
and then there are others that don't make as much sense. So, for instance, we have a brand that it's a grill brand. Their average AOV is about $1,200. The grill's $900, but with accessories and stuff, their AOV is about $1,200. For YouTubers, they'll eat that up. They get a $1,200
Yeah.
product, and then they make $150 per sale. Like they're willing to put the time in to script, edit, shoot a video, promote a video because there's high price product they get and they make a large rip on commission for each of these sales. And they're making like thousands of dollars per video, a lot of them. Right. Where if
Yeah.
we send a $50 supplement to a YouTuber and expect them to make a long form video to make $5, like they're never going to do that. Right. So that brand I'm talking about 70% of their affiliate revenue comes from YouTubers, where that's the only
Interesting.
program we have that the majority of sales come from YouTubers. We work with YouTubers in a lot of our programs, but it usually makes up a smaller mix. There are other brands that like they make a ton of money in credit card rewards programs because they have good brand recognition. So when people are in there, look, they're next to Nike and Adidas and all these other huge brands that are in your Capital One shopping or your Amex rewards. So it's really like we just create strategy up front based on the brand. And the way that I view it, instead of just thinking about affiliates in this little shell of this is who affiliates are, it's like every brand has different types of partners that has an audience. Like all I care about is what is the audience that the partner has, and does this brand fit with them? Do they have trust with their audience? Do they have like what are the upsides that they have? And if their audience is interested in what we have, how do we work out a partnership with them? That can be like more like strategic partnerships than traditional affiliates too. But I think one of the things that's interesting too, people are shocked by how low of commissions we pay out, because we'll go into programs and it'll be like 10, 12, 15% they pay everybody. And we go through and we're like, look, we work with a bunch of these partners in here. Like some of them we pay 2%. Why are you paying them 15? And so our average program, it's different for a $25 subscription product versus a $3,000 AOV like one of our clients has. Like the commission structures are very different. But for kind of a typical consumer product brand, like our average payout is between 5 and 6%. People are shocked by that, of the success we have and the upside we have, where we just know what we're able to work with, like what certain partners are willing to do. And we incentivize them accordingly and just squeeze out a lot of profit while still making sure the partners get compensated and are happy with the partnership as well.
Yeah. And I think that falls back to like the strategy that you guys do beforehand to figure out exactly like what's going to work. Because that example that you give with the grill compared to $50 supplement, like that totally made sense. Like I never thought about it that way. And I can see so many like YouTubers that are doing like reviews and everything. If it's a supplement, you're not going to make much money out of doing an entire video on a supplement. But a grill, you get a cool grill and then you probably get a decent percentage of people that buy it. It's a pretty
and then
big
there are even
win-win.
ways to, but there are even ways to like incentivize them lower price products. Like you can pay them on subscriptions. So if you get people to subscribe, sure, it's a $50 product, but what if on average they stay on for 8 months? Then that was a $400 LTV that you got paid on. So there are ways that you can make it work, but generally, you have to figure out how you can incentivize the affiliates and know what type of affiliates are going to pick up what you're pitching them.
I love that. And I guess just like wrapping things up, one thing I'd be curious about, and I always like to ask like your guests that come on like this show is, for any e-com brand type of people that you work with, is there maybe just like 2-3 like things that you would recommend that they do today or next couple of days to improve their sales, improve their marketing, and just like drive growth like more heavily? I know we touch on to so many things, but if there's 2-3 main like simple action step that they could do, anything that comes to mind there?
Yeah, I think the most impactful marketing tactic there is, once you have some tens of thousands, probably 20, 30, it depends on what your AOV is, but you have a good bit of site traffic and you have at least like a couple hundred transactions a month on your site. Before that, I think it's a waste of money because there's not enough data. But I think CRO is the most impactful marketing tactic that exists for a brand that has plenty of data. If you can improve your conversion rate, you improve every single marketing KPI there is. Your customer acquisition cost goes down, your MER improves, your ROAS increases, like everything improves. I think a lot of people get into testing immediately. It's like the 50 people that bought from you this month, like that doesn't give you enough data to know what. And I think, and people approach CRO differently. Like you have to do diagnostics to understand what's going on the site, where people just go in and start running tests. Here, let's test this button color. It's like, why? What if the button color wasn't the issue? Most times it's not the issue. What if it wasn't the issue? Like, why don't we figure out where people are getting stuck? What are the points of friction on the site? So approaching CRO the right way, and there's a big range. Like some CRO agencies charge $1,500 a month, and then there's this big gap. It's like either cheap or it jumps to where it's like $7,500 to $10,000 a month. But the results you get with agencies that do it the right way, or CRO specialists that do it the right way, is vastly different. So that's one. That's what I think is the single most important marketing tactic that there is. I could talk about that for the next 30 minutes of why that is and how to do it and all that stuff. I think outside, we don't even do email SMS at Purebred, but all of the brands that I work with and involved in, the very first thing you
Right.
should do is set up your automation properly. Build out your flows. It is the highest ROI channel for every single brand. Unless it's a product you're going to sell one time and never sell anything to that customer again, go get your email
Yeah.
set up. Your second highest ROI channel. It takes a little time to get there, but SEO, if you have the right approach, it should
Mm.
be right behind email SMS. And with AI search, or OpenAI and Shopify now have a partnership that you're going to be able to buy soon in ChatGPT. If you are a Shopify site, you have to get ahead of this because people are going to buy through there, and the conversions are going to be crazy because it's not just like browsing a bunch of things. It's like having a sales agent standing there with you as you're trying
Mm.
things on and looking through different things and browsing. It's going to convert like crazy. And if you're too far gone, people that have been working on SEO and have built this foundation, now the additional things we're doing for AEO, GEO, whatever you want to call the AI search stuff, you're going to want to be quick there because there are a lot of people that are not doing those things. And there's
Mm.
about to be a lot of transactions taking place in there, and you're going to get left in the dust. And right now, the competition is going to be pretty low. That if you get ahead of it, like it'll be a cash grab for a little bit before everybody jumps on board.
I love it. Yeah. I have some SEO clients that focus on AI most recently, and I know it's going to pop off for them for sure. But yeah, Philip, really appreciate coming on the show. And for anyone that wants to get in touch with you, they want to reach out to you, what's like the best way to do that?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Philip Hill. My company's Purebred Marketing, purebredmarketing.com. My Instagram is the Philip Hill, just the and my name, Philip with
Okay.
one L.
Fair enough. Cool. Great. You heard that, everyone. Head over to purebredmarketing.com if you want to learn more. To your listeners, if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can also find more insights at wefeature.com, where we're dedicated to helping entrepreneurs build their thought leadership and business by booking their own podcasts and launching their own podcasts. Until then, keep pushing, and we will see you in the next one.